Hi everybody, I'm Oscar. I'm 25 and I signed up my girlfriend for a reality show that totally changed her body. But quick, before I tell you about my girlfriend's makeover, go ahead and like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. So, like a lot of people, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was working as a bartender at this hush-hush speakeasy. I wanted to go back to school, but I didn't know what to study. When I thought about success, it looked like a beautiful woman on my arm. So I spent more time chasing skirts than thinking about my future. I was dating online, and when I saw pictures of Allie, my jaw just about hit the floor. I immediately started spitting my game. She thought I was funny, but it took me near a month to get her to go on a real live date instead of just talking on the phone. We'd spend hours chatting, and I was starting to develop real feelings for her. But when we met up, Allie wasn't at all like her pictures. She had this wacky 80s hairstyle and wore jumpsuits like my grandma. And well, I don't want to be crass, so I'll just say that I was embarrassed by her looks. I mean, she was awesome, don't get me wrong, but I kept thinking people would be looking at us. I tried to tell myself not to be superficial, so I continued to see her. But sometimes, when we were out, I'd see people staring, and I'd think they were making fun of her, which meant they were making fun of me. It was eating me up inside, but I didn't want to break up with her, because there was no way to do it without becoming the jerk of the century. I was talking to my work buddy Lee about it, and he told me I just had to get somebody else to say it. That way, I wouldn't be responsible for any hurt feelings. But nobody I talked to would do it. This one night, I was on my lunch break, killing some time with social media, and I saw this post from a makeover reality show looking for new stars. Yeah, buddy, you know it. It would be the perfect way to give Allie a makeover. The producers and judges would say everything that I wanted to say. Allie would get a makeover. I would get a hot girlfriend. Nobody's feelings are hurt. Everybody wins. I mentioned it to Allie, and she got quiet. I guess my plan wasn't as subtle as I thought. That night, she was looking at herself in the mirror, and she said maybe she could use a new look. I drove her to the audition and waited while they taped the interview with her. After, I asked her what they talked about, but she didn't really say much. A few weeks went by, and one night, Allie called me and told me that the producers asked her to be on the show. Those TV big shots were flying her to New York to do some initial taping. The next couple of months reminded me of when Allie and I first got together. We pretty much spoke on the phone, but that was it. Allie said that the producers wanted her to wait to show me her new look, and they were thinking of having me on to see my reaction. She called me one day and gave the phone to her producer. He said that they were getting ready to wrap the taping, and they wanted to know if I would fly out to see Allie's makeover reveal. I wouldn't miss it for the world, I told him, and he bought my plane ticket and put me up in a pretty nice hotel. When I arrived at the studios for taping, they started asking me a zillion questions about Allie. It was fun at first, but I felt like they were trying to frame me as some sort of bad guy. They kept implying that I was caught up in looks, but I wasn't. They were the ones with the makeover show. I just shared the post. The time for the reveal had finally come, and they played a video recap of Allie's journey right before she was supposed to walk out. Allie started crying on camera, and was saying she had come because her boyfriend wanted somebody prettier. But I never said that, and I couldn't say anything now. There was a live audience booing me. And then, when Allie came out, she looked amazing. I was staring at the benefit of a personal trainer, a half-dozen makeup artist and hairstylist, not to mention the big budget wardrobe. She was almost like a different person. But before I could talk to her, the host was asking Allie how she felt about me and if she still wanted to be with me. They even asked if I was good-looking enough for her now that she was quote-unquote star caliber. Those big-shot TV guys needed a villain, and they were using me. I saw right through them, and I walked right out on them in the middle of taping. Allie came after me when she saw me storm off. I asked her if she was in on it, and I told her I knew those producers were trying to make me into the bad guy. But Allie said it was true. She said she always knew I was embarrassed about her looks. When I asked her to do the show, she knew it wasn't really a choice, and if she didn't change herself for me, she knew she'd lose me. Then she mentioned that she could have any man she wanted. She was big on the internet now and was getting modeling offers. In fact, she was kind of getting famous. She said she wanted to be together, but I had to be willing to prove myself to her. Allie explained that she thought I needed a taste of my own medicine. She told me that we could be a famous couple together, but she also told me that I wasn't really her type. Now that she could have any guy she wanted, she thought it would be a good idea to beef me up. She liked strong, muscular guys, and I was too skinny and lanky for her taste. She invited me to a meeting with some of the producers of the show, and they had this idea for a spinoff called Makeover Revenge. Me and guys like me would go through camp-type training to bulk up, and they were going to turn me from dweeb to hunk. Between the pressure from all those fancy big shots and the thought of losing Allie to some meathead fanboy, I decided I'd do the show. It was grueling. First of all, they got me this personal trainer named Fran, who thought I lacked discipline. If I took a breather or complained, he'd mock me and call me a big baby. I was working out constantly, balancing between cardio and weight training. If I wasn't pumping iron with Fran, I was eating high-protein diets, or standing around half naked while a room of strangers commented on my body. I felt humiliated, and when the producers were comparing me to the other guys, I realized for the first time how Allie must have felt when we were dating. I had tasted my own medicine, and boy, was it bitter. But I was looking better on the outside. Big muscles, new haircut, nice threads. But none of it mattered because of how crappy I felt inside. One evening, I was scrolling through old pictures in my phone, and I found one of Allie and me way back before either of us agreed to be on TV. We didn't look TV polished back then, but I miss those days. I started to think back on what started this whole thing, and it was my insecurity. I kept worrying about how I looked to others on the outside. And now, the outside was all I had, some empty shell. That night, I broke the rules of the show, and I showed up to Allie's hotel room. When she opened the door, she was annoyed because she wasn't supposed to see me until the reveal on TV, and she slammed the door in my face. But I told her my plan to quit the show, and I said I wanted her to come with me. I made a collage of all our old pictures and slid it under the door for her. I told her we could be real people again. For the first time in my life, I knew what I wanted to do. I learned that without a doubt, beauty is only skin deep, and true beauty is on the inside. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best, but never sacrifice what's on the inside for what's on the outside. I told Allie that I decided to become a motivational speaker and talk to people about inner beauty. When she opened the door, she had a tear in her eye. Face to face, I apologized for how I pressured her and that I wanted to be a better boyfriend. Allie wrapped me in a hug, and we went home together. Never forget that you're attractive if you believe you're attractive, and your actions and personality are far more important than how big your muscles are or how trim your waistline is. Are you concerned about your looks? Tell us about it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. Remember, when you share our stories, you're sharing wisdom.